Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Coach's Corner class here at Pizza Hut in Bucyrus. We have with us tonight a guest from Bucyrus boys basketball team. They are all with us. Yes, the boys basketball team finally going up there. The girls team. Let you know that we're brought to you by Kolton Middleton, associate in inspired technology. Coach Tim Baldwin and sports medicine rehabilitation. And Messerschmidt, Mr. Price about G. Graham and Keo, 1 mile east of the Richmond Mall. And we're going to talk first with boys of ours and assistant upstairs. Thanks for coming out tonight. It's a bad weather and cold and snowy out there. Yeah, it's bad to be here, man. It's, yeah, that's something else. That's kind of what we're seeing. So we're about halfway point, Coach, and what's your assessment of how things have gone?
Of course, I haven't been 1-3 games like that. I'd like to win a lot more than that. But I think we're improving in some aspects of our game. I think our defense is getting better. We're getting a little bit better shot selection. But a couple of things we really need to improve on is our rebounding for one. And we're getting a little bit better there, but we still need to work at that. We'll show us a couple of games. We're not getting off the best shots. We just played no offense. They took like 52 shots. I don't know exactly. We took 34. And then sometimes we turn the ball over a little too much. And sometimes we get more second shots than we're getting. And that makes sense. But there's a lot of positive things going on. The kids are still playing hard, better defense. They get a rhythm for our offense. I think we got some games coming out there. It's going to be challenging. But I think we can compete with it. Do a good job.
Yeah, that's right.
Colonel Crawford coming up Saturday night, undefeated and state ranked. I mean, that's
that's going to be a challenge, but we're going to do our best to get ready for him. And you never know what's going to happen on any given night. We played Ridgedale. We went over there, and we played fairly well. And we went to Mohawk, and except for one quarter, we were right with them the whole game. So we're capable of doing a lot of things. We just got to be more consistent. I've told the kids the other day. I said, some nights we get kids that come out and get 20 points. The next night they get 5. The next night somebody gets 18, and somebody gets, next game they get 3 or 4. We want to be more consistent on the offensive end where we can count on them maybe getting double figures. We'd like to have three, maybe 4 guys in the double figures, and that would help us out quite a bit. And they're capable of doing it, it's just being consistent.
Yeah, and like you said, I thought defensively, especially against Mohawk, you look at it, it's a 15-point loss, but you guys were within 5 points with about 5 minutes to go in the game.
You're right, and we did something that game we haven't been able to do all year. We took away their leading scorers. Mm-hmm. Their leading scorer was coming in averaging about 18 a game. We held him to 6. Their second leading scorer was averaging 11 points a game. I think we held him to 8 points. So we have some guys below their average, and we haven't been able to do that all year.
Yeah. And played a pretty good zone defense against them too, and they can be a pretty good 3-point shooting team.
Yeah, it's just we just had that one bad quarter. That's all it was.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're gonna see what the guys think. We got 4 seniors here tonight from the team, and want to remind you that we're brought to you in part by Rob Lust at Edgefield Animal Clinic in Marion, Matt Ramsey, John Ziegler, Drew Young, Frank Heinlein and Associates at Bucyrus Blade, serving the worldwide market since 1951, and Roger Brown at Wingslock and Safe, South Poplar at West Warren Street in Bucyrus. And we have with us tonight, we have Eddie Dagher, we have Kolton Middleton, we have Grady Jackson, and we have Mike Wise. So, since we don't have to pass the mic, we talked about this, it's kind of a little different situation for us now that we're not live on the air. I guess, what do you guys think as a group of senior leaders, what do you got to do to kind of turn the corner a little bit as far as wins and losses in the second half? Anybody can jump in. Mike, you want to go ahead?
I think one thing we can do is push our second group and our JV players just a little harder in practice. we could also step it up ourselves in practice, keep the intensity going. Another thing is, be confident in ourselves. We have the talent, we have a great coach, we have a great coaching staff, and guys below us are just great too. They have potential, and we just really need to get it out.
Yeah, and I know, from talking to the other coaches in the league, they all respect you guys. I mean, they all feel that you can be a tough matchup for them. It's just trying to get it over that hump of, getting those wins. What's your approach when you come into, and I know every game's different because each opponent's a little bit different, but, mentally, how do you prepare yourselves when you are coming into a game? What are you thinking about?
Thinking about, we got to be more gritty than the other team because we're not the tallest team around. We have, I don't think we have anyone over 6'3" that plays varsity, and we have to come out more feisty, I guess, than other teams.
Yeah, and Kolton, you're kind of more of a spot-up shooting specialist. How do you approach the game? You're not starting; you have to come off the bench. You're kind of cold. How does that affect how you approach the game?
I just try to do what I can to help my team win. If I need to play defense, I'll try to play defense. If they put me in to knock down the shot, I'll knock down the shot. But just trying to get a win, that's all that really I care about. So.
Yeah, and of course the other team knows that that's what your specialty is too. And when you're coming to the game, they're probably not going to let you stand alone out there on the three-point line. So it takes a little work to be able to do what you're doing. And against the teams you're playing, a lot of these, Mohawk's a 10-win team. Colonel Crawford's undefeated in state rank. I mean, we're not playing, a weak schedule by any means. So it takes preparation every game. Obviously, don't look past anybody, but it takes some preparation every game. And Grady, you kind of found a niche there against Ridgedale down there. What did you see in that game that allowed you to kind of took it over down the stretch?
Yeah, and I just had the hot hand, and I was just doing what I could to help my team win and just trying to get the win.
Yeah, what was it that it just seemed like a lot of teams overplay us on the perimeter, which is kind of, we don't shoot that many threes. I'm not sure why that's the case, but then being able to take advantage of that, Mohawk was doing the same thing, take advantage of those
if they try to
driving
do
lanes.
passes, I just try and get in the lane, either take a shot or get one of my teammates open.
Yeah, and then once you're in the lane, you get people moving around. Then you can do some post-to-post passing, and you get some pretty easy shots that way. Yeah. Then it comes down to what does Coach Egan say? Almost every interview I talk to him, finish. He said we're getting the shots, just have to finish the shots. So, any particular thing, any goals you have for the rest of the year? As far as, I don't expect you to tell me how many games you're going to win or that anything like that, but what maybe improvements in your game or different mindsets that you might come in with as far as the rest of the season?
I think a team goal that we have is winning the sectional. We still want to win the sectional.
Yeah.
I think another goal is just, push teams to play with us and push ourselves to play with teams as well. Like with Crawford coming up, I'd like to, push them early on, maybe get a lead, and then, just give our coaches a chance to coach this game, help them out a little bit, and then hopefully pull one out. And then for the rest of the season, just come out, hit some shots, and win a couple games.
Yeah, and there's some of these games, like you said, Crawford's going to be a tough game. And there's going to be some tough games on the schedule. But as far as the middle of the pack down, having that mindset that, and I'm not saying you write off Crawford or the others either, but looking at those teams where you should be able to compete with your talent level, and then taking advantage of what they're going to give you. And again, you don't have to score 70 points. It's your defense. I thought your defense, having seen that Mohawk game, I thought you guys did a great job on them defensively in that zone. I was really impressed with that. And if you can play that against teams like that, the lesser teams should be able to have a lot of success down the stretch. So thank you guys for coming out tonight, and you're going to have some pizzas coming out here before we get done. But we're going to have one more segment here with Coach Joseph. We want to remind you that we're brought to you by Lee Plymel and Brad Seibert at the Plymel Insurance Group, Bucyrus and Gallion, Hannah Newton at Wendy's, downtown Bucyrus and Upper Sandusky, and North Central State College, Mansfield, and the Crawford Success Center in Bucyrus. So, Coach, you got four pretty good basketball players here and seniors and senior leaders. Down the stretch, how do you see? I know basketball gets to be a long season, and it can kind of drag through these late January, early February time periods. How do you keep things fresh?
Well, there's a lot of things. Of course, if you're winning, it helps quite a bit. But you were talking about our team. One thing we need to work on is our finishing at the basket. We've gotten good shots. Sometimes we just don't finish it. Like you mentioned, Grady, he got 22 points against Ridgedale. He was driving down the middle, and it looked like the Red Sea was parting. He just got right in there and made his layups. You know what I'm saying? Now, some games that doesn't happen, right? But it's just they gave him a lane to drive in. He took advantage of it, and he scored it. That's what we need to do with more guys. Take advantage of what teams give you. Now, one thing we talked about with Coach Egan and Coach O'Connor and stuff like that, we gave the kids to keep fresh. We gave the kids this weekend off. Played Saturday, but Sunday and Monday we took those days off. And probably after next week or so, we'll start shortening our practice a little bit. We go 2 hours right now. We may shorten them an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and a half. We'll see how things go with that. See how we're playing and see how stuff goes. But we got our stuff stretched. But I think we're capable of handling it if we play the way we should be able to play. I know we got Crawford this weekend. Then we got Elgin. They have a nice basketball team. They won 9 games. I saw tape on today. They got 2 6'4" kids. And I saw their names, but don't ask me their names. I know who's good on that. Sometimes when I get them, when I got to check my driver's license, I see what my name is. But it's just then we got Winford at home. That's going to be another battle. Then we got Crestline. Then we got Upper, and I think Carey on the weekend there. So we get through that stretch, win a couple ball games, and we'll see what happens. I think we can play with all this team. We've done it for a while. We've done it in spurts, we just don't keep those spurts long enough.
Yeah. And like you say, sometimes those little lulls, you look back at the game and you think, oh, if it wasn't for that, you're right there, like the Mohawk game.
If you talk to most coaches, they'll tell you there's about 3 or 4 minutes in each half that swings the game. That's what it is, about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Like if you talk about football, the football coach will tell you about 4 or 5 plays in a game will make a difference. And basketball is about 3 or 4 minutes in each half that makes a difference.
Right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, it sounds like we still have some exciting basketball left in the season, and again, opportunities to win some games. And as the guy said, the games you win now put you in a better position to win those sectional tournament games because you get a better seed. So if you win 7 or 8 or 9 games as opposed to 3 or 4, you're probably going to be up toward the middle of the pack rather than having to play the top teams right off the.
And we're just trying to get our kids to compete. I've always said that the first commandment of high school sports is thou shalt compete. So as long as you compete, you're right there. That's the main thing you want. Just compete.
Yep. Okay. Thanks, guys, for coming out tonight. And,
okay. Well, thanks for having us, Dave.
For taking the time out again this kind of crummy weather that we're having, but that's Ohio in January, so we have to do that. So. Again, we're brought to you in part by Vince Ponziani and Associates at Waycraft Industries, Rod Steiger and Associates at Pizza Hut, Bucyrus Gallion, host of our show since 1992, and the Burkhardt family at Burkhardt Farm Sales, your Case IH dealer on the Manette New Winchester Road. Coming up next, we will have Winford boys basketball, and we'll be back shortly.